Okay, our lesson objective for this one is solve for the missing fraction. Now, this is the last lesson we're going to do for MAFS NF11, add and subtract fractions. So it's a question, how can I find the missing fraction from a given equation? Now, this is a standard problem we're used to seeing. We're seeing where we have two fractions, we add them together. These happen to be like fractions. So we know that the denominator stays the same, and we add the numerator. That's what we're used to seeing. Now, according to the standard, this is something like what you're going to see. And they're saying 4/12 plus some fraction equals 7/12. You see the denominators are already the same. So you know this one is going to be 12 and it has to be 3/12. Still pretty simple. So now let's change it a little bit more. On this one, once again, we see we have all 12s and we're only missing the numerator this time. And we know the 12s are correct, and 4 plus 4 equals 8, so the numerator would be 4. Pretty simple so far, right? Okay, let's see how the next one goes. Okay, in this next one, you can see now our denominator is different. But what we have to do on this one is, since we know our final fraction in 12s, let's turn our 3/4 into 12s. So we have 3/4. We know times some fraction equals 12s. So we know we have to multiply 4 by 3 to get 12, so we have to multiply 3 by 3. So the 3/4 becomes 9/12 plus something equals 10/12. And we know that our missing fraction in this case would be 1/12. Now the key is always turn everything in to the same denominator as our answer to solve for the unknown values. All right, still been pretty easy so far. Let's look at the next one. Okay, now let's see how this one goes. Now if you notice, this one has 21s for our denominator. So once again, for our known fraction we're given, we're going to change that to 21st. And we know 7 times 3 is 21, so we have to multiply top by 7, so we have 7 21s. So we got 7 21st plus something 21st equals 10 21st. So we know that our missing numerator is 3. So our total missing fraction was 3 21st. All right, now here's the hardest one, because there's always a step the students miss on this one. Now here we got 3/4 plus some unknown fraction equals 19/20. So we're going to start off by changing our 3/4 into 20ths, just like we've done before. So we got 3/4 times something equals 20ths. And we know we have to multiply it by 5 to get 20ths. So our numerator has to multiply by 5. So now we have 15 20ths. So now I have 15 20ths plus something equals 19 20ths. And we can see that this needs to be 4 20ths. Now this is where most students make the mistake. They'll answer the question, they'll say, okay, this is my answer right here. But if the question they were asking is what goes in here? So we know there's 4 20ths, and what they're looking for was the numerator was 1. Well, I know 4 times 1 equals 4, and 4 times 5 equals 20. I can take out my 4's, and the actual answer they were looking for was 5. They'll always have this answer here for you because they know you're going to do that, and you're going to figure out 4 20ths and you're going to jump on that answer. But you have to answer in the fraction that had a 1 as a numerator. So when you reduce that down, it became 4 20ths became 4 20ths was equal to 1/5, and this was the answer they were looking for. All right, let's try another one. Now in this one I have 19/15. So let's take the 3/5 and we're going to solve this into 15ths or change it to an equivalent fraction. We know we're multiplying by 3s. So now we have 9/15. I can change that to 9/15 plus, and initially I'm going to ignore this 3 just because I want to find out what 15ths it is. And I know this has to be 10/15. So now I have 10/15, and I know that I need to end up with 3. Well, I know 3 times 5 is 15. So 10 would be 5 times 2. Take them out, and we can see our answer is 2/3. So 10/15 is equal to 2/3. And 2 is what they were looking for. So once again, most students are going to jump on this fraction right here that they created, but the answer they were looking for was the numerator in thirds. So keep a watch on that. So the key to this process is always to change your equation into the same denominator as your answer. Solve for the missing fraction and then convert it using equivalent fractions to the numerator denominator they're looking for. Okay, we're going to practice this at school on Tuesday. So please have a good 3-day weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday.